We're here.
We're here, baby.
Welcome back to the one and only Long and Thick podcast. Today is Thanksgiving after.
Black Friday.
Yeah.
When this drops, it'll be Black Friday.
The most unthankful day of the year.
Thankless,
you could possibly
zero
have.
gratitude.
And on that note, introducing the Long and Thick, 99% off
Black Friday sale.
Black Friday. We're selling tomahawks. We're selling salt. We're selling
Salt tomahawks. Yes.
We're selling kettlebells. We're selling underbells. We're selling everything you could ever think of.
Not to forget the overbells.
Over, under, everything. We got it all.
Only to be repeated Cyber Monday.
True. In all honesty, fuck that nonsense. Everybody says it every year, this kind of like hyper, fake appreciation on thankfulness. And then the next day they're fucking trampling children in Walmart for like a 10% off a TV, where it's just, it is America at its finest. So yeah, just a reminder not to be a Black Friday obsessed person. Which
ultimately too, by most research shows that people still pay 80% retail anyway. Like,
I know.
At full retail, 80% of what you purchase is at full retail.
Right.
So sick.
Yeah. 1 week prior item, $600. Week of Black Friday.
I think, while companies are trying to get the most out of it, it's at least nice that we're so conditioned to it now, and like the weeks are getting longer. Like we're Black Friday almost like months now, whereas when it was just Black Friday, people acted like absolute assholes.
Do you know what year it started?
I don't.
I think it was in our lifetime.
Yeah,
no?
90s probably, I would say, where it really first came to light. But seeing old viral videos before virality was a thing,
right, where
people were just kicking in doors and just thievery and nonsensical bullshit. It's a mar on the human historical record for sure.
Yeah. That being said, we do actually want to take the time to dive into some of the components of gratitude and thankfulness, as it's just very fitting for that time of the year. And it feels so easy to be such a almost like cynical, like, yeah, but everyone, same thing with the New Year's, like it's all the same kind of vibe. And you really have to push pretty hard against that to not succumb to it. I mean, like in just full transparency in this moment, I'm just like, God damn, I don't want to talk about, and not because like I don't feel thankful. It just, there's something that happens when you start to try to like embrace that ideology that feels so like icky, right?
Sure.
Like,
yeah. Well, that's why we call this like affectionately the science of not being a miserable bastard.
Yeah. Fair.
And there is a certain sex-based component to this too, because I think as in a nutshell, men specifically have a harder time with this concept. And I'm sure we both toiled with our own tribulations with finding the rhythm and the way to really execute expressing gratitude and exemplifying it, contrary to how we may have been brought up or the things that we've been conditioned to around culture. And it is tough. Like you said, if you're just like, oh, I'm just thankful. You're like, that doesn't feel right. That's not organic.
Yeah.
And you really, much like fitness, you're not just going to lift, a couple weights and then be fit. You have to live through it and start making it more of an identity trait. And then you start to see the fruits of that labor farther down the road. True. And expressing gratitude is the same way, because the first several times, if not a very long time, it just feels performative.
Yeah. Like you're gaslighting yourself. Yeah. Which is an odd place to be. Why do you think it feels harder for yourself, or has felt harder? And then what parallel do you think there is to just like men as a whole, stereotypically, that relates to that?
For myself, it's going to sound weird. I think there's this whole genetic component to it, because I grew up with very positive parents, very supportive parents, but innately I've always been a much more critical, cynical person. I've always just been the silent observer. And in that doesn't kind of breed a baseline for just looking around and be like, oh, this is just so great. I'm analyzing. I am, I was more of a late social bloomer as well. So it really was just Hawkeyeing everything, trying to understand analytically, which doesn't mean that there's no optimism,
Sure.
but it's much more analytical objectivity. And it took me a long time, I mean, many decades, to really change that to where I am not a jaded, cynical person I've never been a negative person outright, but I've been such a neutral passerby that
That's the thing, though. I think that the neutrality will lean negative, and not as a criticism to you, more as like a look at the way that our attention is most captivated, and it is via negative feedback loops.
for sure.
Kid exploded in a grocery store after a sniper round, like, and it's just like, whoa, that shit grabs you by the soul. And then, it becomes really, really
something enriching and wholesome. You just, that's
nice.
That's
nice. That was a cute bunny.
Yeah.
And
car accidents, shootings,
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah.
yes.
That's a very good point to highlight, is as a culture, as a species, we are so much more gravitated to negative and just stressful things in a way. No one just is like, I love peace all the time.
Yeah, the survival mechanism of it is a good thing, but in a world, at least on our behalf, that is so inherently comfortable, like the tiger's not behind the couch kind of, mantra, it really changes things. And I think you need to be able to take that neutral space, which I think a lot of men typically operate in. And something that I had written down while we were talking about it is like, it could always be worse. Feels like a way to have this like pseudo gratitude, right? Where you're like, well, technically, like it's not, I know that there are worse situations, and that's not the same thing as, like truly appreciating, feeling the scenario that you're in, whatever thing you're dealing with, but it also mutes your ability to be grateful and appreciative, because you're putting this like diffuser over the situation.
You're nullifying the peaks and valleys of those sorts of things, for sure. And I have employed that my whole life as well. It's just, you just downplay everything.
Right.
And I think that does come out to be more of a male dominant trait, but it happens across the board.
For sure.
But I for sure can echo that most of my life is with the sentiment that expect the worst, be happy with something better.
Right.
Which is not gratitude or optimism. It's brutal cynicism.
For sure.
And that's kept me seemingly happy for a long time. I've never been depressed or
like realistic.
Yeah, it feels, it's a really weird way to talk about gaslighting yourself is, this is just realism. But it's like, no, you're also just sequestering yourself on one side of the emotional spectrum, which is mirrored by what a lot of men deal with from rearing up to their lifestyle. Because, and again, there are exceptions to every rule, especially on the lady side too. But for men, we are usually conditioned, whether it be by parents or by peers as we grow up, of expressing yourself, keep it to yourself. We don't care what you're thinking, what you're feeling. Just do a good enough job, perform when you need to, try to be as humble as you can, and just keep moving forward. Always trudge forward
and don't cry. Definitely don't cry.
Don't cry and don't express deeper emotions. I, for myself, have never, until probably 30s of being comfortable enough with myself and my guy friends, be like, dude, I love you. Like for sure. Like my life would be forever different without you in it. Right. Yourself included. And it's, you have to get around to it. You have to be in the right environment with the right people and the right circumstances.
For sure.
And have the right support system, whether it be friends, family, therapy, what have you, to really be able to tap into that. Because at a baseline, like I said, as a guy, you're just like, shut up and perform.
Right.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Do your job, make as little noise as possible. Just keep doing the thing.
Yep.
How about you? What is your take on the male side of things specifically?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just what we can speak to. But in terms of any kind of like gratitude practice feels I'm putting this in quotes for anyone not watching, like, that's really like gay. Like you're doing this thing that's like not masculine and macho, and neither of us feel any kind of way that is, indicative of like grouping people in that way. But I think that is just so the norm, sadly. Like you said, it really bottlenecks how men ought to behave. And it feels like, okay, are we even really talking about gratitude at this point? But we are, in the sense that we're having this like dampening effect across the board. Like you said, the peaks and valleys, it is trying to create this baseline that is a steady trudge, because no one likes to go up a huge fucking hill and then back down and then go back up another one. And so I'd rather just a slow ass peak, although some people would say that's worse. But yeah, I think it's just too wrapped up. I do think, fortunately, that like some of that is dissipating in some of like what feels like, at least in my own world and view and feed and algorithms, that is like more open, right? And just more like, I paint my nails. My fucking toes are mad painted. Like, like, and that is
express yourself however you want. Yeah,
exactly. There's nothing else to it. It can just stop there. It doesn't need to be like, oh, you might have, feelings about it, or someone has feelings about it, whatever. But my point is just like normalizing more of that stuff will allow people to truly embrace the way they feel. But part of that gratitude side, I think, does need to be cultivated in a way that is not self-gaslighting, that doesn't just look at like, well, technically the glass is like a 16th of an inch full. Like, you're not helping yourself there either. But there is a way to process the heavy shit that you could be feeling, and then find things that you're like, okay, I do feel gratefulness for this. And I think it's important to normalize both, because one is bullshit without the other. Right?
Sure.
And so if you had to start to explain some of your own gratitude appreciation, we already know we both have come from the point of like it being weird, cheesy, just like not authentic. We're past that, right? Now, how do you actually start to implement it? What are some ways that has been a thing for you?
One of the things that really kicked it off for me was getting myself, this sounds really silly, but I have always toiled with, I can keep everything in line in my brain. My imagination is limitless, which is its own Achilles heel. Being able to bring it out into the real world, whether it be verbally or written, is the thing that changed the game for me. And it was something that I just rolled my eyes so hard at originally, twice as hard, like looking at the back of my skull pretty much, when I actually started employing it. And then it actually did the thing that did it. It improved my life. And I was like, you're such a fucking
I can see you
idiot.
Like floating in a room, like your eyes are, there's actually pressure mounds in the back of your skull.
100%. Yeah. The back of my cranium was just like dipping into my spine. Yeah. Because I was the type of person that I thought I could keep everything balanced and where it needed to be and in the right direction mentally. I was okay enough at it, but it all starts when you look at goal setting, for instance. Putting it out on paper on a quantum level is just one of those things that aligns it a little bit better with a little more clarity. And it seems so insignificant, but it really does work. And I saw a graphic that was really poignant and to the point, where it shows a pile of laundry that's completely disheveled. It's like in your brain when you write it down, perfectly folded, organized. And it's just a great little way of identifying and exemplifying that. So for me, my first foray into getting to where gratitude would work would just be writing down goals and just schedule things like that, making something out of my brain concrete on a medium of some sort. And then kind of seeing friends, colleagues, you even say like, hey, just like maybe get your thoughts out on a written page, maybe just see what happens. And again, my first initial instinct is, what's that going to do?
It's so funny how we do that.
Right. And it's like, oh, I'm good. And I think that's more of it's a human thing, but very much more of a male thing of just, oh, we're fine. We're good. Never show fear, never
like,
crack a.
Yeah.
any sort
I
of
already
weakness.
know the outcome.
Yes, you think you do.
Right.
I thought I did.
But it's so genuine.
Yes.
And anybody can relate to this. Like, you have this like fucking concrete, steadfast, like, oh, I already know what they're going to say. I already know what this situation will play out as.
You don't.
You actually have zero fucking idea, as do we. Like, you have to live it out, but continue.
Yeah. But yeah, that's how it started for me and it was, dude, it was hard. I mean, literally having a pen in my hand, like, just say you're thankful for something. And you're like, why? What's the point? And it kind of starting with that first rep being the ugliest and the hardest, first person stepping into a gym. All right, what did that do for me? Probably nothing.
Right.
I don't feel anything about that.
Right.
And then you do it a couple more times and a couple more times. And what's crazy is we've talked about this off camera, but I got really good at it prior to life getting super crazy with travel and a bunch of work stuff.
That's right.
And when I let it slide and wasn't doing it regularly daily, you really do feel, and we'll talk about more about the chemical shifts in the body and emotions and things like that. But it is palpable. Once you start, it would be like us being lifelong fitness practitioners and then just stopping lifting for 2 months. We would feel physical effects and quickly of how that would regress. And you can feel your mind and your emotions do the same thing. So I ramped up that behavior really, really well and really saw the benefits of it and telling people openly that I'm appreciative for them or saying how thankful I am for things, writing it down regularly and really altering my emotional chemistry by doing it and then just getting too busy or too distracted and letting it slide. And you can look at a comparing contrasting difference where you're like, oh, I miss that now. Yeah. I've allowed myself to slip into a more focused, brooding, cynical, process driven human without those things. And it really is a disadvantage at that point.
Fuck, man. Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up because I remember that very distinctly. And it's funny the way, when you get to know people well, especially when you're an adult, you get past all the like nonsense shit pretty quickly, right? Like the trials and things that you have with your young middle school, high school friends that you sort of just like are a coming of age kind of thing. We're already past that point. And so it's like you just fast track when you build a new relationship. And in this case, like seeing the difference between some of what you were explaining and not having the words to be like, that's what's different about you, but knowing that something was like different, it is astounding how much we try to separate those things as if they are not part of our health and like they don't operate similarly to like time in the gym, time studying. Like that is all the same universal practice of get the ducks in a row in some capacity, or just like keep pushing that consistent effort towards the thing that you want to create and facilitate. And I mean, I know that same thing to be true. I mean, in my own.
Yeah, maybe the next question would be is jokingly, but also pointedly, coming from a New Yorker background, like lay that on me in terms of where I'm sure, like me, you are not always the most grateful person.
Definitely not.
So coming from a New Yorker background, tell me how that arc.
Ripping darts as a 4-year-old.
Out of the womb, pretty much.
In the driveway.
The doctor just lights you up as soon as you're birthed.
Man, yeah. I mean, New York is such a unique place culturally, but for sure there is that just like cold-blooded, are you fucking gonna order, fucker? Like, let's go.
And almost constantly on a threat defense level.
And like deep love at the same time. Like if some bad shit happened, you know that you're somehow covered by everybody around you, but also
fuck yourself until that happens.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, man. I mean, I think the biggest thing that I see it in my like day to day is how emotionally reactive I can be driving, never in like an unsafe way or like I know better than to like do that.
But still like Hades, little mushroom cloud.
All the time. Yeah. And I hear about it a lot in terms of like the way that I will express myself while driving. It can get pretty punchy pretty quick. But in terms of, things that I've experienced in the different practices of gratitude, I mean, I think the most profound time that I truly understood some of what you were just alluding to with that differentiation between how I emotionally felt, all the behaviors and everything, was probably in my like hyper evangelical days. And I only draw that association because it was such a time of like spiritual discipline. And while in a lot of other ways I was really fucked up, in the spiritual practice, I could sit for like 4, 5, 6 hours just like praying. And what that does to your nervous system, right? At the time, the language I would use to express it was like, God this and Holy Spirit that and whatever. But what's really happening is my just proximity to oneness with everything else was becoming more and more and more shrunken down,
and
right?
your parasympathetic system is just like, yay.
It was fucking like I was a frequency. I was,
just
like
the down regulation into the soup of the earth pretty much.
Else existed besides experiencing. And when you do that, like, it really peels back some layers. But it is so easy to just like quickly get glossed over and get pulled into 400,000 different directions. And I'm not suggesting that anybody sit for 6 hours regularly.
No, I mean, even 20 minutes is tough.
Right.
Even 20 minutes can get scary, or just you're not going to be honest with the time at that point, which is fine. But any sort of quiet, still, peaceful thing, I mean, if it's to start out 5 minutes, 10 minutes, that's a win. I've yet to do more than 20 currently. Yeah. It's just, it gets heavy.
It does get heavy. A lot can happen. Man, I've had some really wacky experiences in, those long haul periods. And regardless of what is like actually happening, right? The point is your experience with it is the point. There's
whatever it is.
Exactly. Like you astro projected, like, all right, did you really? Who cares?
Yeah.
Are you being less of a cuck the rest of the day?
Yes.
Sick.
Great.
Do you feel better towards other people? Do you like colors more? Like, do you feel, that? Okay, good. You can go fly around in space as much as you want, as long as when you come back, you're pretty sick and like nice.
Yes.
Like that's the point, right?
For sure.
And then it is coming from a real place. But man, it's funny how it just can be so tough to make it a regular practice. As we're even just like talking through this, it makes me think about wanting to, especially off the back end of like the strength show. I know a long time ago we talked about doing like a Discord server, and I think I already like made one, but we could utilize something like that as a means of having other aspects of community surround these like key components and things like that. If anybody listening is like, oh, that makes your ear do a little
like
ear
weekly
boner,
or monthly reminders of gratitude or meditative habits, things that are just a journaling checklist.
Yeah. Or a place to share, an online accountability space.
Sure. No, absolutely. I mean, I wholly welcome that because it's good for anybody and everybody. That's why we as coaches, we do that. We openly welcome that kind of dialogue because we know, much like how we started this conversation, getting it out of your brain, whether it be just verbally or textually,
right?
It changes things.
Yeah.
It changes you. It changes your chemistry. It changes how you prioritize what you're going to do with your day, your week, all of that.
Right. And then those loops, like anything else, become the new way that you are slowly starting to operate. You have to have the long-term vision as opposed to feeling like burdened by, I didn't do my like 10 minutes today. I'm a piece of shit. Cool. What you just did instead, you do meditate already. That was your meditation.
Sure.
That was your spiritual
practice. You
practice.
rooted in the wrong thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. You you executed and you went in a direction that was counterintuitive to what you actually want out of it. You sat there and you thought about it negatively instead of just clearing your mind. Even just having nothing is going to have a more positive effect on your organization and down regulation than just sitting there and be like, oh, I could have done so much better. Could have done this better. I wish I was this. And that is something that we'll touch on too, is just how you chemically talk to yourself, the world around you, the people around you, and how you might not even realize that while you think you're positive, the things that you put out are probably anything but.
Yeah. Well said.
All right, so we did allude a little bit to brain chemistry. You brought up earlier, it's a quote that I like, that the tiger is not actually behind the couch. So gratitude as a way of altering brain chemistry. I mean, there are studies that show that in terms of like amygdala function, there's a down regulatory effect of not making you feel as high, strong, intense in a guarded way. I'm not gonna go too deep into that right now, but still it exists. Secondly, is a way of reprogramming your own day-to-day chemistry with how you interact with your natural world, with people. Hit me with it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I shared about some of my own, fucking road rage, and some of that flavoring, and it just is unpleasant, right? Like, did I loosen it? Fuck me. Nice. Yeah. Tied like a tiger.
Yes. The tiger behind the couch.
Yeah, tiger in my mic stand. That's my new band. Yeah, I mean, I think it's part of it is just like that experience fucking sucks. And it doesn't have to be that way. And I only further my likelihood of, following that loop, the more that I just stay in the loop. I think something that I wrote down from earlier that adds to this phenomenon is how much of the natural, like, emotional extremes we are forced to live in. People feel the most unappreciative of how good they had it until something gets fucked up, right? You sprain your wrist. You were never thinking up until the point that it's got sprained, I'm so glad my wrists work. Like, it just doesn't happen.
Sure.
Part of it makes sense. Part of it is like, it takes a lot of energy to be like, good job, fingers. Way to go, ears. Like, whoa, good hair today. Like that shit. That's like you're just burning a lot of, unnecessary
emotional
energy.
Calories for these weird affirmations. It's not quite the same thing.
It's not the same, but it is a good reminder. And me and my buddy Tommy always talk about this. Like, anytime one of us is sick or someone that we know is hurt or whatever, like, nothing else matters. Literally, like, your top priority becomes, I can't wait till my fucked up wrist is better so I can do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
You weren't thinking about that shit before.
Yeah.
So don't keep operating in a way that is like, oh, I'm only appreciative of what I had once it's taken away.
Yeah, that is a really good point, because if anyone has started down the path of gratitude work, or just had something bad happen to them, or things repeatedly bad happen to them, it is truly hard and the best exercise to find a way to wrangle gratitude when you're at your worst.
Right.
That's when that shit really counts.
Right.
Because when things are going great, when you're in your bear market, your bull market, so to speak, in your life, and everything is all up and up, aces, of course you're going to be happy. Yeah. Oh, this is better than I've ever had it. This is great.
Yeah.
That's the lowest hanging fruit of all time. Like, no shit.
Right.
However, get an unfortunate car accident, get a bad, bill of health news from a doctor, have to deal with someone with a friend that's at a low point, then start talking about what you're really thankful for amidst that. And that's when the real growth can happen. Yeah. But no one likes to do that. It's hard to do, but that's where it really that should be. If you could train an instinct out of anything, is when things are bad, be like, tell myself something good. Yeah. And I do that with clients, friends all the time. They'll come in and start unloading. Okay, I get it. Sounds bad. Tell me something good. They're like, yeah, but like, nope. Tell me something good right now. And you see them just, well, I'm thankful for this. Really good. And like, how do you feel? Like, better. Yeah. It's like, oh, how about that?
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing you're making me think of is like, tell someone else something really good.
Yeah. Make their day.
Right.
Without being, prompted.
Yeah. No string attached. There's such a wild exchange that happens when you like catch somebody off guard. They almost like become positively offended. They're like, if you're like, dude, that shirt looks fucking awesome on you, to some random ass guy.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh, like they're just so taken back. There's some funny videos of people like starting off
Positive cat call kind of stuff.
How fucking dare you go out looking so good. Like it's like that spin off, right? And they're like, they're like, oh, what? And then they change the phrasing and it's funny how that happens. But yeah, I mean, I think part of the message we're trying to get across here is just like, don't wait for the extremes. The point is, most of us are experiencing a much more routine baseline experience, which is that my wrists actually do feel pretty good today. And I'm appreciative of that.
Sure.
It doesn't need to be more than that. Like, wow, that feels good. Cool. No pain. Love it. So try to embrace just little snippets of that instead of waiting till you're either fucking fully elated or absolutely gutted and crushed. And then when either of those things happen, which they will, you'll be a little bit more, bolstered and prepared
for sure.
Yeah. The misery loving company, some of the chemistry points of sulking, right? And how wound licking and the victim crew can sort of latch onto each other. It's just things to be aware of.
Martyr behavior, things like that, where the universe is out to get me, the world is out to get me. And that's not actually the case, but that is a frame of reference that will keep you imprisoned if you always think that way. And I've known plenty of people when I experienced that behavior the most, I wasn't as equipped now to even have that conversation. I would just like, why is it that bad? Why is it that negative? I mean, it's not that deep, I promise. But at least being able to coax a different line of conversation out of someone, I am better and more adept at now. But yeah, it's funny too, because when you talk to someone who is constantly miserable, they have blinders on to it. They think they're positive, like, oh, it's totally fine, but just shit sucks. It's like, well, then shit's not fine. Right. And you're not doing anything about it to make you less sucky in the process too. And those people, and I think we've all been there, we've all had our phases where we don't want to be positive or nice. And that's when it just matters the most.
Yeah, man, it's really tough. Can you think of, and you don't have to paint them or obviously dox them, but people that you've come across where it's almost challenged you to the degree that you go, do you actually just have like the worst fucking luck?
Yeah. And I would say now more than ever in what I've done in terms of gratitude work and meditation and kind of trying to restack my own deck on a quantum level, which again, if we talked about this a year ago,
bro,
would not have.
You would have kicked yourself in the cock.
Oh, for sure.
And then stomped on the,
you're a fucking moron. But I was a moron for believing that. But no, there are some people that I've encountered that's just everything is, oh, this happened again. This just happened again. This just happened again. And at a certain point, you said misery loves company. Like they're almost inviting it. Their expectation now is only bad things can happen. So guess what? Only bad things are going to happen.
Yeah.
And you have to fight like, Robin Williams out of Purgatory and Hell in, what was that movie?
You're like the encyclopedia of
What Dreams May Come.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. It's where Robin Williams, his wife dies and he goes to hell to try to get her out.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But just getting out of that muck, it takes a concerted effort. You have to fight for it and want to be a more positive person. And you have to pretty much show reality in the universe that you're deserving of better things. Because if you constantly say, oh, it's just this other thing just happened. This other thing just happened. Well, guess what? There's a conveyor belt of bullshit that's waiting for you.
Man, it's so fascinating. Like, I fully agree. I think there's a handful of people that are coming to mind that sort of make fun of like my good luck. They're like, how the fuck, like Juan in particular is just like, I hate you so much that, and I think of all these instances where in the last industry that I was in, like clients would give me like crazy shit, like $20,000 TVs. They'd be like, $100, you want it? And I'd be like, okay, yeah. Like absurd stuff.
Yeah.
And it's not, I don't feel like I'm arrogant in like my expectation of like good things are just going to happen. But I do have a baseline feeling that like everything will be fine and that probably something good is going to happen.
Yeah. And
almost all the time.
That belief, I mean, you are shaping your own reality. And we've talked about this several times now. There's something to the quantum level of things. It's unquantifiable.
Right.
But if you have an open mind and you're constantly inviting the thought of good things and gratitude from others, that can just manifest in really unexpected and positive ways.
Right.
And I myself over the last year in trying to work on these habits, and I find myself, I try to be the kindest person that I can. But when you always put that level of effort forward and try to also cultivate that with other people, try to be either inspiration or just a direct effect of like, give me more of the good stuff in your life. That just starts to have its own positive feedback loop, and more and more opportunities come your way, and people start believing in your good essence, and then they also factor into that and filter into you as well. And it's this cumulative effect that starts to compound that only shows itself when you are ready to be positive as consistently as you can.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the people that you have been around and go, God, fuck, I feel refreshed after spending time with that person. Like not like I just had this big vent shitty session, and it doesn't mean that they're not available or that they don't, have negative feelings or whatever you want to call them. But there is a way of embracing more and more of that attitude, and it is so intoxicating in a positive, fruitful way that's not manipulative or shitty, like being around folks who keep drawing that stuff out. And it really is something to strive towards, because it is so easy to almost full circle go back to the like macho man, head down in the shadows. There's no vulnerability there because everything is like a mystery, and you're much safer. And in that safety, you lose all of the tastes of the sweetest peach. And like, it's just such a odd thing to think about. I sort of caught myself half daydreaming on the 11 months, that we're into this and some of the shit we're talking about. Not that it's not out of left field, but more just like, it's so indicative of like the experience of life unfolding. Right. And
yeah, I think a really easy way to wrap that up is, regardless of what regardless of what you are pursuing, consistency will always breed success. We kept with this. It's been great. So your own efforts into positivity and gratitude is probably going to feel aimless in the very beginning. You don't know where you're going. We didn't know what we were doing when we first started doing this.
Yeah.
We still kind of don't.
Still figuring it out. Yeah.
Right. But the same thing will happen. It'll start to compound and multiply the more you just put yourself fully into anything. Most people can't follow anything through. So if you can just do it with positivity, be surprised how many doors will open, how many new connections you will make, how the color of the sky will just look differently. But if you think that you're a one-person show and you can handle everything yourself and you only keep everything locked away in your mind, it's not going to be the best existence. And I am like patient one of that. I did that
He's the first person to ever do it.
Yeah, ever.
And now he cracked it back.
I wrote the script.
Here is the manifesto on how to operate as
to be a miserable bastard. I don't think I've ever truly been a miserable bastard, but yeah, it's finding better ways of conducting myself, how I talk to myself, how I interact with others, try to lift them up. It's been a game changer for me in terms of how I feel at a baseline on a day-to-day level. Yeah. It does change your core person for the better.
Yep. Totally agree. Let's we'll drive this turkey into home base here. I keep
Literally
scraping my
and
fucking,
figuratively.
Yeah, I keep scraping my hat. Sorry if you're hearing that.
Little ASMR, little asthma, little hat asthma.
Yeah, hat asthma. My head smells like shit. If I was my hat, I'd be coughing too.
Yeah.
No, driving the turkey home base.
Gobble gobble, baby.
I'm going to give you 3 fat cues when you're going to go through them, and then I will redish back. So I need one thing you are grateful for. I need one thing that you feel grateful for now that is something unexpected that you wouldn't have anticipated being grateful for. And then one thing that in the remainder of this year you want to be actively fostering gratitude around.
Okay. Question 1. One thing I am grateful for. Throwback, Willie Nelson. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. No, I am grateful to have this and you in a way that not only allows us to talk about these findings, but also in doing so reinforces why we're doing this and being grateful as a whole.
True.
It's a perfectly just great little onion. It's this self-fulfilling prophecy that I'm immensely grateful for.
Hell yeah.
Because a lot of my own personal development and my own pursuits have come from conversations with you in this capacity, outside of this capacity, and really exploring deeper nuances of myself that I would not have done without you. So I'm grateful for that.
Right on.
Grateful for something that I was not expecting to be grateful for. Gratitude in general. Straight up. I've always been we'll say a reasonably positive person. I've never been a brooding, just like, man, like everything sucks. I don't know why I can't get ahead person. That's not been me. But just understanding what gratitude and being grateful truly is something that, like I said, a year ago wasn't really on my radar. Didn't understand the complexities, the potential of it all. All right,
That guy is grateful for his Porsche.
Yeah. And so yeah, just being grateful for gratitude. That was very unexpected.
Hell yeah.
Which sounds like an oxymoron, but it is what it is.
No wrong answers.
Something that I want to cultivate gratitude for moving forward. I don't know. I'm grateful for. I'm not saying there's not more to do. I'm grateful for a great many things. Cultivate gratitude toward. I don't know. That one's a little bit perplexing.
Something that's good. Something that you can
reflect on a little bit,
take and chew on. And
he's always pushing me to be better. This one.
I try. This is what friends are for.
So one thing you're grateful for.
There are so many things in this day and moment. I am very grateful for a brain that is not experiencing anxiety. I feel very grounded and just like happy to exist at a good baseline, which is not necessarily always my experience. And so it just feels good to be able to like, I'm good. I'm not worried about the time. I'm just, like it just is a nice place to be, especially when you know what the other side of that feels like. So, an unexpected gratitude, I would latch onto your first gratitude and say, everything that's happened with this podcast and, our friendship and just the unique things, the unique components to it. I think every single relationship has different cool things to offer. And that's certainly true for, our friendship. And I don't want to call it unexpected. I'm in the ways that I am appreciative of it is what is unexpected, right? Like the push for consistency, the appreciation of simplicity, and the reminder that like, it's cool to just be with a homie and just like sometimes exist. And there doesn't need to be more stuff for us to be like, so what about tomorrow? And there's not a grasping for like, how do I fill the space to talk? And that's a really good sign of, a healthy friendship. So for you, bitch.
All right.
And something that I want to foster more gratitude towards, I would say my own advice was some of the in-between moments a little bit better, paying attention to when there are lulls instead of being blown into fucking disarray, like in my drive over here, or, I was actually like I was fuming.
Yeah.
And
you found a way
reason.
to have a larger text bubble I never saw.
Yeah. They actually cracked his screen. I'm sorry. But yeah, I think fostering gratitude for the moments of stillness and times where bombs are not going off, sirens are not happening, the weather's fucking rad right now. We got tornadoes here, like paying attention to paying attention, right? And like letting that be my reality governor as opposed to anything else. And so I think that'll keep me a little bit more even keel, especially from, throwing frozen tomatoes out of my car. I definitely don't do that, but I've wanted to.
Marbles, just a human claymore, just
drilled through your door. This orangutan arm can get some torque.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, the velocity is probably fierce. In all of that, that actually did remind me of something that I do want to cultivate gratitude for that I currently cannot do.
Okay.
Something, if you know me in any of my years, Ronnie can attest to this. I'm very good at filling my schedule. I would say arguably there's somewhere in me that might be borderline uncomfortable with having free time to myself.
Sure.
That it feels like a lapse in productivity, that I can't be moving toward my goals more. The grand irony is sometimes when I do have that time to myself, I am not actively working toward anything, but just existing. But being able to eventually, it's kind of a New Year's resolution that I structure my life a little better to carve more time for myself and being able to be appreciative of that without being fearful or somehow ashamed of doing it. That would be something I would like to be able to cultivate.
That's huge. Yeah, that's one that gets written down for sure. Hell yeah. Anything else you want to add in
No, at the time of this coming out, I just hope everyone had a very wholesome, engaging, delightful Thanksgiving. If you can find a couple deals that's not incredibly opportunistic on Black Friday, great. Yeah. But just be good to yourself, be good to your fellow people, your family, check in on them, say that you love them, even if you don't even have the best relationship with them.
Yeah.
Just be good. That's it.
Yeah, I would say, speaking, from experience, the rockiness around the big holidays that feel like Hallmark picturesque family moments, and having, more of them that are nowhere near that, or spending them in a way that I was like, that's no one else does that. Like, you don't go to someone else's house for someone random, right? Like, that has become, I don't know, more normalized. But for the people that are having a harder time feeling any snippet of gratefulness, or if you feel shitty around the holiday and it brings up hard stuff, I would encourage you just to sit with those feelings, let them come and go. And as they have processed, find something that you can feel appreciative of, regardless of how small it is. Like we've been talking about, like if it's the flavor of a cookie that day, the whole point is to just highlight it to you. Pay attention to what you're paying attention to. And so it gets really, really like, I don't know, redundant and annoying to hear, but the sooner that you enact those little things, I think you'll be much more relieved. So
yeah, get the reps in and being present in this motherfucker.
That's right. Happy holidays, fuckers. Until next time.